AITA for refusing to remove my medical equipment during my sister's wedding? I am not the original poster. That is you, diabetic bridesmaid. She posted in Am I the Asshole? Original post. February 13, 2023. My sister is getting married next weekend and I'm a bridesmaid. I'm a type 1 diabetic and I wear 2 medical devices. A Dexcom blood sugar monitor on one arm and a Omnipod insulin pump on the other. They're both really small, under 2 inches AIA, and work together to automatically monitor and regulate my blood sugar levels. This basically means I don't have to prick my fingers to test blood sugar or give myself insulin injections. The system does that automatically and makes my life way easier. Today when we were trying on our dresses, my sister told me she wants me to not wear them during the wedding because the gowns are sleeveless and the devices will look ugly in the photos. I told her I wasn't okay removing them. They're essential medical equipment and I'm not going to put myself in a position to affect my health just for some photos. My sister complained to our mother and some of our friends, and they're all taking her side. They say it's no big deal if I just don't wear them during the wedding. But I don't see why I should. Mom suggested I could move them to my stomach, but I've tried that before and find it incredibly uncomfortable. When I put a new sensor on, I'm stuck with it for 10 days until it expires and I can switch to a new one. And I don't want to be stuck with one on my stomach where it will bother me the entire time. They're all complaining that I'm not willing to compromise at all, but I don't think my health should be an area where anyone can ask that I compromise at all. AITA? More about the packs. You can't just move them or take them off temporarily. You have to keep them in place until they expire. OOP is voted NTA. Update. Same post. February 14, 2023. Next day. Update. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to everyone for the responses. I didn't expect this post to blow up the way it did at all. So I have an update for everyone. I didn't want to involve others, hoping to settle this between myself and my sister. But my brother got wind of what happened last night and absolutely tore my mom and sister a new one about how hurtful it was to suggest I go without my devices just for her wedding photos. He then told my grandfather, who is paying for the wedding. Grandpa apparently drove an hour into town this afternoon just to tell my mother how disappointed he was and that he must have gone wrong somewhere raising her. He told her that if they didn't apologize and make things right, my mom should figure out how to pay for all of the outstanding wedding costs herself. Now I do think this was a bit extreme. I wasn't looking to cause this much trouble for my mom and sister. But it seems to have worked because they called me to apologize and say it was wrong of them to suggest I just go without my monitor and pump and we can find a way to dress it up instead. I accepted their apologies. We decided to try wearing flower corsages over each device so they can't be seen. If that doesn't work, we can try a shawl as many of you suggested. Again, thank you all for the support. I'll be giving my grandpa a big hug and buying my little brother dinner tonight as a thank you for having my back on this. Maybe it seems minor to some, but it was really upsetting to me that my own family turned on me when it came to my own health. So it was a really big deal to me that they unconditionally supported me when my mom and sister wouldn't. Relevant comment. February 18, 2023. They're really not bad people. I think they just really got caught up in the wedding. They've both practically been planning it full time for months now. Not that I'm excusing their behavior, but it doesn't seem like they're holding on to whatever problem they originally had. Happy to report that the wedding went well. The bridesmaids all wore corsages so we matched. What really gets me is how simple the solution actually is. Family is just so insistent on her taking them off that it takes effectively extortion for them to Think for 5 minutes. Grandpa apparently drove an hour into town this afternoon just to tell my mother how disappointed he was and that he must have gone wrong somewhere raising her. Sometimes a text or a call just isn't enough. Grandpa doing things the old-fashioned way, face to face. Hey, I have a small favor to ask you. You know those devices that are responsible for helping to keep you alive? Could you just maybe not wear them? Or wear them in a spot that's incredibly uncomfortable for you instead? I understand they are important to you. But obviously my wedding photos are more important. Don't you think? Quote. Thank goodness for Grandpa having some sense and not being afraid to cause a ruckus. Doesn't one of the Hyam sisters have one of those devices? And she wears hers in their music videos. So if a big music artist doesn't even take hers off in her music videos, I think it's pretty clear that it is unreasonable to expect anyone to take them off. This instinct to force wedding participants to alter their everyday appearance so as to not look ugly or be distracting in photos is so hilariously short-sighted and counterproductive. Like, OP will presumably continue to wear these devices for the foreseeable future. So her not wearing them in the wedding photos is actually what people would be more likely to notice. Grandpa apparently drove an hour into town this afternoon just to tell my mother how disappointed he was and that he must have gone wrong somewhere raising her. He told her that if they didn't apologize and make things right, my mom should figure out how to pay for all of the outstanding wedding costs herself. How do I submit someone for Grandpa of the Year award? My wife is a type 1 diabetic. Those monitors are in fact quite small and easy to hide. Also, they are not easy to just take off and put back on again. This post is from 2023. Did I miss something about Photoshop? Literally every set of wedding photos get touched up. They can just edit it out if it's that big of a deal. I personally wouldn't care that much. I doubt they are that distracting. This is the story that got me banned from AITA because I said I'd punch anybody who tried to take my Dexcom off of me. That's violence, IG. There is a whole slew of websites that the mom and sister could have found pod and transmitter decorations on. Not to mention Amazon. If you ever want a fun, dress up your sites, you diabetic bridesmaid, check out Pump Peels, Expression Med, Pimp My Diabetes, Useless Pancreas, Type 1 Style, T1 Decals. If they're paying for photos anyway, they're gonna pay to have the photos be photoshopped too. Right? This feels like a 5-minute easy fix. If my sister had them, I would be proud for her to show them in my wedding pictures. The sister is truly insane and disrespectful. Yeah, I have a feeling that wasn't a real apology. They're just apologizing to make sure Grandpa pays for the wedding. Once the wedding is over, it's how they'll treat OOP that shows the truth. Mom and sister were asking OOP to risk a stroke and death for photos. Grandpa was right to rip them a new one. OP shouldn't have to hide them either. Why can't people see medical devices? Why should OP have to feel like there's something unsavory about something their life depends on? It just looks like a small piece of plastic. Some people wouldn't notice it. Some would and then go right back to their business. Sister sucks for making it seem like it's some spectacle that would take too much attention away from her. WTH? These devices are a big deal and are a pain to remove, not have in place for a medical procedure. And I'm sorry, but a wedding does not rise to that level. I'm a lifelong T1 and the idea of being asked to remove my sensor and my pump is infuriating. Going completely without insulin for too long makes me physically ill. Learned that the hard way from some mishaps over the years. If I'm without it for long enough, I'll start throwing up, and at that point it's time for the hospital. And getting your blood sugar back in control after an hour or two of no insulin can potentially take hours. Every diabetic is different though. Depending on how OOP's body handles high BG, she could feel like garbage the whole time. There's also the possibility that without her sensor, OOP could miss the signs of a dangerous low and end up passed out on the floor. Never mind the cost factor. Mind you, price may not factor for OOP if she has good insurance or lives somewhere with good healthcare. But I have to pay over $150 for a single 7-day sensor. Like hell I'm going to remove this thing and waste that just for some photos. I don't use Omnipods, but I'd imagine they're similarly expensive. For me, it boils down to this. Unless everyone else is willing to remove their pancreases for the photos, then I'm not taking off my pump. They're really not bad people. Yes, they are. My wedding photos are more important than your life, that's essentially what they were saying to her. Photographers are amazing these days. They could remove the devices from the images with a click of a few keyboard keys. Her brother and grandfather came through on this. Well done to them.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.